got Dave Babner here from M3S Sports, our race director here for Cap City. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. It's race week, right? Thursday of race week, 2 days away from the 23rd annual Ohio Health Capital City Half Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
We're here at the Panera Bread Rapid Packet Pickup for the Ohio Health Capital City Half Marathon. Participants are coming in. Our team's over at the Columbus Commons getting things ready. Our traffic control team is out in the streets of Columbus. We're getting ready to put on the best tour of Columbus around. I'm excited now. You know, the hay's in the barn. We've done the work. Now it's about making sure, keeping everybody safe. We were with Dr. Ben Bringer earlier. Director Prashadi from safety was here. I got a chance to talk to her a little bit. Met with police and fire this morning. So things are looking great. Now it's up to, now we put on a party. It's a celebration now, man.
It's one of the best parties that's in the city, that's for sure. And Cap City has been going on now since 2005, I believe. And it's grown to such a huge event for the Columbus area. What started what started that journey for you? Why Cap City? Why start it?
Okay, it's a good question. So in a former life, I was a lawyer. So I practiced law for a number of years. I guess I still am a lawyer. I'm just not a practicing lawyer anymore. But I was representing a columnist for Runner's World magazine. So he happened to live in Chicago, and I was doing some of his literary work and some of his personal appearances. In 1999, the Rock and Roll Marathon Series started in San Diego, California.
Okay.
He was part of Team in Training, which was the charity program for that. And they brought him out to speak at expos and to do those kind of things. So he asked me to represent him to do some of those things. So in 2001, maybe, he was running down the lakefront path in Chicago, and the American Lung Association said, hey, we've got this race. It's the oldest race in Chicago. It was a 20K, the Chicago Distance Classic. So he said, hey, would you be part of, they said, we're really good at raising money, but we're not good at putting on a race. I know you're in the running business. You always wanted to do this. Would you have any interest in doing this? He looked at me and he said, I have no idea how to produce a race. This is kind of up your alley. Let's be business partners on this. So that was 2002. I'm flying back and forth to Chicago. Anyway, long story short on that, a Chicago Distance Classic turned into a half marathon. We built it up, and in 2008 it became Rock and Roll Chicago.
Okay.
So, and that's when John retired. He's 20 years older than I am. He retired, went and did that. In 2004, or just before 2004, I walked into the mayor's office, and I said, I'm doing this half marathon thing in Chicago. We don't have anything like this in Columbus, Ohio. I said, I want to build, it's my hometown, I want to build a huge celebration of the healthy, active lifestyle. Mayor Coleman said, sure, let's do it. So there was an after-school program called the Capital Kids that the mayor was passionate about. It became one of our official charities early on. We had a little kids mascot race, which I know for you, had you been around back then, you might have led the mascot race back in that day. So we did the mascot race. Actually, one of my kids who was really young at the time said, Dad, let's do a mascot. And that's how it started. So we had Stinger and Lucille and everybody around. So we did that. But my vision back in 2004 was not to just produce another. I'd been around running. I grew up in New England, ran the Falmouth Road Race, knew the Boston Marathon. My idea was not male-dominated, tight nylon shorts with the slit up the side, A-type personality. It was, why can't we make this so that everybody's invited and everybody's included? So over the years, that's kind of what I did with Cap City. It took a while. I was the Pied Piper for a while.
Yeah.
The running and walking community in Columbus wasn't as vibrant, wasn't anywhere near what it is now, right? There were a couple of running groups. There was one running store, Front Runner.
Yeah.
And those guys, I went in and I said, look, I need a sponsor. I said, I'm kind of doing this on my own nickel. I'm trying to build this race. I want to do it the right way. In 2004, they said, well, we can sponsor you, and maybe we'll give you a couple pairs of running shoes, but not the good running shoes. We'll give you the other ones, right? And everybody thought I was kind of, it's a joke now, like kind of P.T. Barnum in that sense, that I wasn't a serious runner. I've run a lot. I've run hundreds of different races, done a ton of half marathons, done a bunch of other things. I've never been really good at it, right? But that's kind of how
relative.
right? That's kind of, so, but I knew the elements of this, and I knew what was coming, and I said, it's got to be all about the celebration. If it's about participation and celebration, competition will take care of itself. All the fast folks in Corral A, you'll see on Saturday, they're coming no matter what. What I need to do is encourage the Corral E, G, right, E, F, G, H, I, get my alphabet right, the back of the corrals, to say, you can come, you're fully supported, and you know what? The course is going to be open for a full 4 hours. So walk, run a little bit. We don't care how you participate, just participate. And when Cap City started, it started as a half and a 5K. And one of the things I wanted to do is make sure I was in the community, and I would go out and run with MIT or other groups, and I'd go into the 13 or 14 minute pace group. And one guy said to me, he goes, I've done the 5K a couple of years, but I don't know how to get, I'm nervous to get to the half. So in my head, I said, I'll tell you what, let's do a quarter marathon. And it's not a quarter of anything, it's a full quarter marathon. It's 6.55 miles. So for a lot of folks, that's a huge step from a 5K, right?
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
And so that's really, but over the years, it's always been that mission and always been that vision. And the city of Columbus, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. The city of Columbus kind of grew up around us. Tim Flayhaven came to town with Fleet Feet Sports. The other running stores started to grow. Fleet Feet's now got, 3 rooftops, something like that, right? Including Front Runner. I think that's a Fleet Feet Sports now. There's a bunch of other folks out there. People are leaning in to run specialty, and it's something that's accessible. Right? All you really need is a pair of shoes and the will to do it. Right? And guys like you, the rest of the M3S Sports Ambassador team, just go out there, go to running clubs and just talk about stuff and say, hey, you can participate in this event. And the reason we had a 5K to start was because I wanted people to see what a big half marathon looked like. So most 5Ks, you're never going to see the start line structure we build. You're never going to see the kind of crowd support that's on the course. You're never going to see a concert at the finish line. You're never going to see all the elements that make up the post-race, the buyer's post-race party in the Columbus Commons. So 5K people came and went, whoa, I've never run a 5K like that. Usually I do a 5K on Sunday to raise some money for a charity or do something else. So one of the most rewarding things for me is to watch a 5K finisher. Then maybe at one of our other events, a 4-miler, come finish. And then maybe they do the quarter marathon at Grandview Yard. Then maybe I see them at the finish line of the half, and I'll get an email that said, hey, I did Flying Feather 4-miler, and now I've done Cap City 10 years in a row. And they get a pin on it, right? Now we're giving away loyalty pins and other stuff. So that's a long answer to your short question. But, it's the vision behind it was always celebrate the healthy, active lifestyle and do it like nobody else has ever done it. And put the right team in place, embrace the running and walking community, and hopefully I had something to do with helping to build it in Columbus a little bit. If I had a small part, it's just something I'm super humbled and honored about. But to watch what happened. And look at that. Columbus Marathon added a half, right? And then we added the Ohio Health Grandview Yard half and quarter marathon. And then people said, why do you do all these events? And it's because I want to see people put it this way, back in the 70s and 80s and even the 90s, running a marathon or a half marathon was the final exam. People trained for that. I think it's the start. So if I have an event every month, M3S Sports has an event every month. Some are super cool, like our Finish in the Stadium series, whether you finish at Ohio State, the Memorial Tournament on the 18th green, you go over and finish on home plate, you finish in the wave pool at the zoo, you do any of these kind of fun things, people go, okay, I can keep this in my lifestyle. And then they come maybe see you at a running club. They see Tuck go and do what Tuck does. They go see some of this stuff. And it builds community, and the social aspect is so important. And don't even get me, like coming out of COVID. Like that was crazy.
COVID was crazy.
I did more virtual events than I've ever done, sending out sitting in our warehouse, sending out medals and T-shirts and all that stuff.
That was an interesting time.
It was nuts.
Yeah, I actually did. I did Cap City that year virtually, and I still dressed up for it. I dressed up. Me and my friend John, we dressed up as Batman and Robin. We started over in the Easton area and ran all the way downtown, Scioto Mile. Needless to say, running down Fifth, where they're like, why are these two weirdos dressed up in just random costumes? But it goes to speak to the benefit and the impact that Cap City has had. I've done Cap City now, personally speaking, since 2012, and that was my first race ever. I ran in high school. I didn't 5K. I didn't know anything about. I didn't know about a half marathon. I didn't know about a marathon. It was
What'd you run in high school? Track?
I did the 800 and the mile.
Okay.
And when my coach wanted to torture me, I did the 2 mile. I was the 2 mile was
2 miles, no joke.
It sucks. 2 miles. 2 miles is straight trash. But I didn't know any about that, and then I saw advertisement like, hey, here's a half marathon. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. Let's go do it. And woefully undertrained, but it set off the catalyst to where I am today. And just the atmosphere really spoke to that. Going in, and this is like, we're out here running. You got people, you got volunteers out here helping us out. You got spectators cheering us on. You got this after party where everyone's having a good time and just celebrating. It really was a true start to where I am today. And it speaks to the vision that you had set then to now. And looking at it from there, I wish I started it in 2005. I graduated then. But seeing from here till now to the impact it has to the city. Not only that, you have Black Girls Run here for the second year now. And BGR, when they show up, they show up.
They show up.
But
show
it
up
says
and show
something
up.
when they choose these specific races, because it speaks to the culture that they have to that. So my next question to you would be, what was the importance of getting BGR here to have one of their national meetups? So
J.L. Alexander, their president.
Yes.
I knew what she was doing, and I said, and she kept building. BGR had been around for a while before she took it over, and she was really growing it. And I said to her, hey, I just reached out, and I said, hey, this is who I am. You don't know who I am. You never met me, never done any of these things. How do you and I'd love to have BGR. I said BGR in Columbus has been around for a long time.
Yes.
Caretha Mitchell kind of started the first deal. And at Emerald City, back when we had that, what is now the Granville Yard half, started it in Dublin at Emerald City. She crossed the finish line and said, preserve the sexy on the back. And I'm like, that's the line. Let's go. So we started talking a little bit about it, and we've always, BGR has always been a big part of the M3S sports events.
Yeah.
Big part of Cap City, but locally. So Shirley and Carolyn and Tatrisha and all them came to me and said, hey, what would you think about a national meetup? So that's when I reached out to JL. And I said, here's the deal, though. You don't know who I am. Where are you going to be in the next month? She said, these are the races that I've got to go to. So she was in Tampa. They were doing, not America's Finest City, but one of those, a race down in Clearwater. So I said to my wife, I said, Natalie, let's get on a plane. I want to go meet her and see her face to face. So we went there, had a chance to have dinner together, talked a little bit, and I said, here's the deal. If we do a national meetup in Columbus, it's going to be bigger and better than anything you've ever done from a national meetup perspective. And I will get what we need from a community support to make that happen. So last year was the first year. 2 years ago, she came and ran. And in doing so, when she came here, we met at that point, Council President Shannon Harden.
Yes.
So she got a chance. Shayla Favor, who's now the city prosecutor, went over to the county commissioners there. So we got a chance to talk to Kevin Boyce as well. Explained what we were doing. And county and city have always been huge supporters of what we do, what we were doing. And everybody said, we're in. We want to make this happen.
Wow.
And so she got to see how big a deal this was. So she ran it, got to see Cap City, got to interact with all the Columbus team. And from there said, we're going big last year. So you saw, we had a huge party at the Key.
Yeah.
And that was thanks to the city and the county and the sports commission. And Linda Logan got on board early. And so we did this. And it's great for it's fantastic for tourism in Columbus. So women here from 28 different states.
Wow. Yes.
So all coming to Columbus. It's not why I did it, but it's important. It's bring everybody in here, make sure that tourism's supported. There is nothing like participatory sports, like to get folks out here and participating and be part of Columbus. And plus, I moved to Columbus in 1990. I'm super passionate about it.
Yeah.
I think it's a hidden gem. When I left Massachusetts to go to law school in Columbus, people said, "Why are you doing that? Are you going to practice agricultural law?" Right? Don't understand, like that old Cowtown stuff, right? You know the
Yes,
vibe. You know the
yes.
vibe. So we were kind of like, wow. So I said, Columbus is an amazing city. 16th largest city in the country, I think now, maybe even bigger than that now. Look, we got professional sports. We've got an amazing university. It used to be all Ohio State.
Yeah.
Not anymore. We're sitting in the brewery district. At least that's what they used to call it when I was in law school. The brewery district, and German Village is right down the street, campus. So I said, if I'm going to do this, so Cap City, obviously, we'll talk about the course in a little bit, but best tour Columbus around. Like we head down and we're through German Village. What a cool little vibe that is. And come on up, run all the way up High Street. Talk about the backbone of Columbus.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to talk about the course right now. And loop around campus, run down Neal Avenue, and Italian, like to see all that. And then, a lot of races finish in the Arena District or they finish over in other places. And I said, the Columbus Commons is super important to me for a couple of reasons. It's the closest thing we have to Grant Park, which is where Chicago District. It's kind of a lot of grass, because back when we started, there were no buildings around.
That's right.
But still, right when I was in school here, that was a mall.
That was,
right?
City Center, was it?
And so it was City Center Mall. So when Mayor Coleman and I were talking about it, his chief of staff and we talked, and I said, I want to be the first big event in the Columbus Commons. And John Wolf, who is guy that started Channel 10 and all that, the Wolf family was really the backbone that helped build Columbus, whether it's Nationwide Arena, whether it's Channel 10, all the stuff. Like he has his fingerprint on everything in Columbus. It was an honor to me to be in the John F. Wolf Columbus Commons.
Wow.
So this race, that's where we start. That's where we finish. That's where we have the party. It's unbelievable. I mean, and it's this side of town, right? All the stuff that's been built. Hilton is fantastic. Convention Center's unbelievable. But to be able to do stuff kind of a little bit further south than that, I'm humbled that they let me be the first let M3S Sports produce the first capital city there, and it is their first event. And over the years, we got an amazing relationship with the Columbus Commons folks. It's amazing. So anyway, proud of that, proud of the course, proud of the support, and to have BGR here for the second straight year. And I'll tell you one of the things that I remember this day because I know where I was sitting. Yeah. So JL texted me and she said after the race, sent her a couple of videos, sent her some things. After the race, she said, "Let me ask you something." She said, "We don't really do national meetups in multi-year type of agreements, but would you be willing to do it for the next 5 years?"
Wow.
And I said, and not only let's go, right? Yeah. We're partners. So we'll have a cool BGR party tomorrow night over at the Municipal Stack Building. Yep. Cameron Mitchell came on board to help partner with that. Of course, Ohio Health always came up. City, county, everybody's coming on board, and we're going to throw a fantastic party for all the BGR team. Excuse me, all the BGR team that's in town for this awesome weekend.
Awesome. It's such a fantastic event, just from and even speaking from, BGR has always been close to my heart, especially with the different involvement that I have from different races around the country. But the local community, as you mentioned here, you've got Erica, you've got Sherry, you've got Doretha, all of them have always been so ingrained in so many aspects, and to have that representation come here to really reemphasize that Cap City truly is for everyone. It's not for your elites. It's not, and they're going to show up to a race one way or another. They're going to pull up. But it's the fact that Cap City has always tried to cultivate that atmosphere that no matter whether you walk, you run, you crawl, you hop, skip, jump, or so happen to dress up, you have a space here in this environment. And that's what's been so beautiful watching Cap City I can say this now that I'm getting seasoned, watching it grow over the past, my involvement over 14 years, that theme has never been lost. I've never felt, every time I've done Cap City, I've walked away and been like, oh, something's changed, or, oh, I don't know if I like that. Of course, it's gone through different changes, and that's for different reasons, but the feeling, the party, the celebration, most importantly of all of us, has never shifted.
And it took a few steps early on. People thought, what do you mean there's no elite prize money?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you're not flying in the best athletes in the world? And I said, you know what? If I have elite money and I have elite athletes and I'm taking care of the elite athletes who are coming to town, doing it right, there's a lot of things. We can go deep onto the elite athlete, and one of the things, we had a Daniel Chariot, who actually went to Malone College, was a athlete from a village in Kenya, actually lived with me for a few years. Super nice kid, wonderful kid. So what I did early on is I said, Daniel, here's the deal. You're going to live with me, everything. Come run in our events. All these people that don't think I have elite, he put down a 101, 102, and people were like, oh, okay, maybe. So anyway, so over the years, what I said is, we're going to do amazing finisher medals. And whether you're first, you're getting that medal. Whether you're last, you're getting that medal, and anywhere in between.
Yeah.
So for us, that's kind of the what I want to focus on. Now, I went to the sports commission and said to Linda, after we were seasoned a little bit, hey, I want to bring the national, if we're going to bring elite athletes in, I want to bring the national championship. So 16 and 17 had the USA half marathon championships, USA track and field half marathon championships here. Just like BGR, I said, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it really well.
Yeah.
So we did. We set the gold standard. We'll do it again.
Mm-hmm.
They've asked us, would we be willing to do it again? So I think we will.
That's awesome. That's so cool, because I remember those years, actually. I remember seeing the little banner that says USA Track and Field National Championships. I'm like, I'm in the same field with these elites. I'm 100%. Not catching any of them, but I'm going to be out here pulling up. And that's always been cool that's going back into discussion, because I know that even then there is always a space for every athlete. And I know that there are quite a few elites that participate in that. I know my friend Andrew Yee he won last year, if I'm not mistaken. He's a really nice guy. I know he's going back out. Shout out to you, Andrew. I know he's going to go out, try to take gold again in that. But again, having that kind of that wide gamut of talent from your elites to those who during the first time. And again, I'm glad that you brought up the medal, because that's one thing I always talk about with the different communities I work with, is that if you go in these races, 9 times out of 10 you get this exact same medal. So your first place gets that medal, last place get that medal, but everyone gets celebrated in the exact same way. There is no differentiation, because last I checked, a 5K is a 5K, 6.5 is still 6.5, 13 is still 13, and no matter how you do it, that's still more miles than a lot of people do, and that should be celebrated in that.
Yeah, and don't get mistaken by the fact that when I talk a lot about everybody, it's all about participation and celebration, and competition takes care of itself. We still make sure we have an elite course.
Yes.
We have it. We do it in corrals. We make sure that the elite team can come and run, and we support them just like we support everybody else. So we're not just a fun run.
Yeah.
We're a lot of fun in a run, but in a walk. But if you want to race, we're going to set you up for that too.
Yes.
And we set it up for success, right? We have 8 different Powerade refueling stations on the course. We have the best medical team on the planet, led by Dr. Ben Bring in Ohio Health. The director of public safety does a remarkable job with police and fire. We have shown that we need to be an elite race management team with an elite safety program first, so that I can do the PT Barnum stuff, right? And so people look at me a little as like, hey, he took age group awards away. He took prize money away. He did this stuff. He must just be about the fun. Yeah, I am, but we're an elite race management team first.
Yes.
So when people come to see what we do, I hope we have a ton of first-timers, but folks like yourself that have done it for years and years and years, I hope you see, hey, they've got an elite team. The way Run and Recovery is set up is elite. The way the course is set up is elite. The way the traffic control is set up is elite. I would put our team, and I've been all around the country. I've worked with folks in big races all around the country. I'd put our team against anybody in the country.
I would agree with that because there's never been a race that I felt like that I've never been misguided in the wrong direction. It's always been clear. And everyone talks about that already, but the race, it's still pretty important. And from logistics to the volunteers to the staff, it's always been top notch at Cap City. I can't think of a single time that I went there and like, oh, this feels kind of put together, kind of taped together. It's
Right.
never been the case. And then that's going from the people who are your traffic controllers to your balloon crew, who is waiting till the last person there behind them, so that way no one finishes last. The balloon crew is always behind them to help give them that extra push and that assurance that you're not alone out here. Those you don't find those kind of things in all the races.
You want to hear the story behind that?
Sure.
Okay. So in 2003, had the race in Chicago.
Yes.
And the way our course was set up, you had to get across Lakeshore Drive by a certain time. And the police there would say, if you're walking, you're not really in the race. And even most municipalities, I'll put Columbus in this category because we went through it a little bit here. The police officers always put in a position in the back to get on a loudspeaker and go, get on the sidewalk. Operations guys, no fault of their own, if you go to a lot of big races, they're taking down the banners and they're wrapping up run and recovery before the final finisher has crossed.
Yep.
So what I said is, I'm going to hire people to be last. Our volunteer team, our balloon team is remarkable.
Yes.
They are in touch on radios and cell phone so that they are the buffer between our last finisher, the police, the Red Cross, and our medical team.
Wow.
So they're giving constant communication to our operations team. I know where the final finisher is, and not one operations person is allowed to take down one zip tie, move anything, until the final finishers come across, and I'm standing there with a microphone and say, this one's in the books. So was incredibly important to me.
Yeah.
Because like if you go to a soccer game, and one of the things that people will hear me say in different media interviews is that one of my missions, and I sit on the board of the Greater Columbus Sports Commission, one of my missions is to make running relevant with stick and ball sports. I actually think it's more relevant because it's a participatory sport and not a spectator sport.
Yeah.
But if you go to a soccer game, there's a start and an end. You go to a hockey game, there's a start and an end. You go to these races, you don't know. There's some final finishers, but you don't really know where they are. So I said, first thing we're going to do is there's going to be a start and there's going to be an end. And I'm going to be there for the start and I'm going to be there for the end. And that's how we're going to do it. So there's an operational reason why I MC most of these events. I enjoy it, too. I think get into my background, but it's kind of like all paths lead to where you are now. And for me, I was in the music business, DJ business, all that stuff, went to law school, lawyer, and it's kind of like everything led to sort of what I'm doing in the race business. I didn't mean to be the face of this. I've kind of become the face of this over the last 25 years, and I'm fine with it because I would love to. There's nothing more rewarding to me than to greet everybody at the start line and celebrate them at the finish. That's the coolest thing for me.
Celebration is so. That's one of my. As you know how I move, but
Right,
celebration has always been so integral to my personal running journey to celebrate others because running is difficult. Running is
there. You go.
Running is legit difficult. Walking is difficult. It sucks. I mean, there are times when, and this is literally when I'm in mid training block. I'm like, these things are drags. I got another day to run, but it's like that sacrifice and choice to continue to be consistent. It takes a lot out of you. A lot of people who are training for the half and for the full, the half, the quarter, and the 5Ks, they could be spending months and weeks at this.
Well, a full is no joke,
No,
right?
it's
Like
not.
that, when you're talking about training for a full, and I admire folks that produce full marathons, and I admire people that run them. And I've been to Boston, growing up in New England, I've been to Boston a lot. I had a chance to go with our medical director and the team at Ohio Health to be in the medical tent to see how they do things, to see if we can make better, different practices to Cap City. So, like I said, I want us to be everything we do has to be elite at M3S. So, go see these things. But 8 hours, 7-8 hours at a finish line doing that. I mean, that's a lot.
A lot.
So it's M3S Sports has never produced a marathon. Whether we will or not at some point, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for us, it's kind of our mission to get people in. And what did Danielle tell me? 1,700 first-time half marathoners in Cap City.
Amazing.
So we're doing something right, getting folks that maybe
Yeah.
ran the Ohio State 4-miler, ran first on the first, went to the Memorial Tournament, went to the for no reason other than they may like Ohio State football and wanted to touch the 50-yard line. No reason, and hey, I get to get inside Jack's place before anybody else at the Memorial Tournament or any of that. Go to the zoo, and they're like, this thing is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, one of the things, and you, before I got to know you and you became an ambassador and all this, you had sent me an email and you go, hey, I ran in a Mr. Incredible outfit and my wife was in Rose was in a Mr. Incredible outfit, or Mrs. Incredible, I guess. You didn't have a little dash or anything running around, but you had all the incredible thing. And you sent me an email about, can I get the picture or the photo or something at the end? And I always, tell me what led you to that. What led you to that? Because I know you make your own outfits, you make your own costumes. Shoot, you scared me coming to city council in the outfit, and Council President Harden says, oh, we went to high school together. What's up, man? So, and even Councilmember Bankston the other nights was talking about you. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that honestly started from that same rooted from a selfish frustration is a good way to put it. I was, again, started doing Cap City for years, and I was going for time for a while. My goal was to do 130 for a little bit of time. And I was first inconsistent, but then I was frustrated with why I couldn't achieve it. I'm training, I'm running, I'm thinking I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not having fun. So I'm like, something has to change. Something has to switch up. So I'm like, the first year I did, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just dress up and, remind myself that this should be fun. Like, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm not getting paid for it. So
That's a great story.
It is. It's like it was. There was nothing to lose. And since then, though, it's such a shift in that atmosphere when dressed up, whether it be Mr. Incredible or Superman, because it's more than just the costume for me. My heart has always been to celebrate. So whether I'm in costume or not, I'm a hype up the person next to me. But it just goes to 11 when dressed up as Mr. Incredible or Superman, because all of us are out there doing something difficult. All of us out there are trying to do, whether it be your personal best or you're just out there, remind yourself why movement is a blessing. Doesn't matter what. It's always a reminder for myself and others that we should always celebrate, especially race day. Training can be so tough. And I say now because I'm personally tired. And I'm in marathon training right now. I'm doing Cap City, but I'm in that block of like, I'm working hard. I'm putting in the time, putting in the effort. Race day should be just that, a celebration of the journey. Less alone, I'm not a big fan of banking my success on one day. That day of race day should be, you've got a huge party out here. You've got people watching. You've got people celebrating you. You can celebrate others. I don't have to be that locked in and forget why I run in the first place. And that dressing up brings back that joy for me, and it brings back joy to not only the participants, but when the spectators see it, when the kids see it, they get excited. I always stop for kids. No matter where I'm at, even if I'm racing that day, I stop for the kids. And it's just, that's what's important, though, is we should be able to be present and celebrate those kind of moments. So that's where that started for me.
That's fantastic. And you talk about, kindred spirits. I mean, that's just a lot of what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's not a final exam. The finish line is the start, not the finish.
Exactly.
Kind of quirky, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does.
Like, hey, live that healthy, active lifestyle. Longevity is a huge thing these days, right? And you think about it. I'm blessed. My dad's turning 85 the next month.
That's awesome.
And plays tennis 4 days a week. Was a marathoner. Got me into. So he's really I'm really the legacy that he left in the whole. Running and walking and seeing it, and I started running races when I was 10.
Wow.
My sister's a couple years younger than I am, is an Iron Woman, has run a zillion marathons. Bugs me because she can say, hey, yeah, I'm going to go run. I got into New York. I'm going to go run New York. I'm going to go run Boston. She stays in that kind of shape.
Yeah.
And so it's just to start the healthy, active lifestyle, just if you're walking at all. And great new partnership with the Arnold Sports Festival this year.
Yes.
And one of the things, when the Arnold guys came to us and said, hey, we really want to take this to the next level. We've had this event for a bunch of years, but we want to M3S it up, for lack of a better term, and we really want to build it. So to have things like to partner with doing a pump and run, where like Tuck's in there bench pressing and then comes out and run. One of my kids is like, that got him interested. So he's bench pressing and doing his thing and then got out and run. Then partner with GoRuck, the weighted vest, which is now the new thing, right? That's that whole longevity thing, just walking a little bit with a weighted vest. Yeah. We did a ruck in there. So now we encourage people to come ruck our events. You'll see a bunch of people at Cap City in ruck vests. A lot of good health reasons for that, but it's just anything you can do to stay active and healthy. And if you're living a healthy, active lifestyle and you come to one of our events, what I want you to leave with is this was fun. Yeah. May have hurt, right? And we try a lot with first timers. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, you may have some tips for them, and I want to thank you and all the other ambassadors for all the first-timer tips and all the stuff you do on social media and everything. Because as a first-timer, you hear all this music, and it's pumping, and the video screens are up, and everybody's going, and you're like, I was training at 10-minute miles. And this happened to me once. I was running with it only happened to me once, and you get through the first mile and you look at your watch and it says 7:30. Oh. And you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that start out too fast. Yes.
By about mile 7, you're like, so when I ran my best half marathon was in Indy, the Indy Mini 25 years ago, whatever it was. And I knew I was in pretty good shape, and I said, I've been training about 8s, 9s. Yeah. And I said, all right, I'm going to start out where about 9-minute mile, 9-minute pace, 9:30 pace, something like that. Felt pretty good. Next miles, did, what do you call that? Declining splits or whatever, right? Yeah. So kind of my split time kept going down, and I knew when I got to mile 6 or 7, I'm rolling. Let's go. And I just put the hammer down, and it was cool to pass everybody. Yeah. So I tell that experience. I tell people that my experience a lot, because at Cap City you can definitely go out too fast. Yes. You're gonna. What do we got? 42 bands and DJs on a 13.1-mile course. All the community folks, whether it's in German Village or wherever else, come out and cheering everybody on. And campus, it's a big party, so everybody's doing their thing, and you can just go. And then you get to mile 5, 6, 7, whatever, and you're like, holy moly, and the day's not as good as you wanted.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Right, it could be like that. So it's always like this. I always say, and Dr. Bring will talk about it, depending on the weather, he'll say this is not your PR day. Yes. Or this might be your PR day, depending on where you are. And we've got the cool celebration bell. You can ring it if it's your first time. You can ring it if it's a PR. You can ring it if you just had a good day. Yes. So shout out to Extra Tough for providing our PR little Extra Tough finishers bell. So we got that going on. And it's if you can enjoy the experience, you're gonna have a smile on your face. And the amount of people that get the video from last year is playing inside the expo, and I've seen it, and just seeing all the smiling faces and everybody that had a good time. And somebody said to me today, they watched the video and they said, wow, this really is a big event. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal. We're one of the top half marathons in the country. Now, I'm not taking credit for that. We've got a huge team, and the city's been great. Like guys like you and the whole ambassador program. You mentioned our volunteers. We got 800 volunteers for this deal. I've mentioned the bands and DJs and all our partners led by Ohio Health. But it takes, not to use a cliche, but it really takes a village to build the best half marathon in the country.
It does. So I know I personally, and I hinted at it earlier, but it takes a choice to make these kind of things, and you could have done plenty of other things, but I truly believe that Cap City in 2012 was the catalyst to what started myself and probably plenty of others their first half marathon. We'll have people who run this weekend. It'll be their first half marathon, and the hope and the desire for them is that they continue. As you said, it's the start, not the finish, and that's 100%. Where having an atmosphere that helps encourage that lifestyle, not only to just get to the race and that's it, but to get to the race, okay, when's the next race? When's the next landmark? When's the next journey? That's important. And having events like that and your work in this space, you've cultivated a team, you've cultivated a culture around this running space that really encourages that. So I personally want to thank you for all of your years of work into this sport and all that you've done, because it's a lot of work. I'm sure it's a lot of work and effort, blood, sweat, and tears to put things on like this, but I can only imagine if this wasn't around, personally speaking, where I'd be. Because running has truly changed my life, and seeing that advertisement back in 2012 to do a half marathon and saying I'll do it, I can't imagine where I would be to this day. And that's being completely genuine. I mean, running makes up so much of who I am now, and it makes up a lot of people's. And I always believe we are people who run, but there's an identity that comes with that, with running. And I feel like Cap City, the other M3S sports that you have, that healthy lifestyle where there's different avenues for people to be successful wherever their fitness is a big deal. And for you to create that kind of atmosphere and that culture for people to fit in and exist in, that is a big deal. So I personally want to thank you for all that you do in that.
Well, man, I appreciate you saying that.
Of course.
That's a great story, and I tell you, it makes it all worth it.
It does.
And like you mentioned, we've got an amazing team. Everybody works really hard. You know, people ask, when did you start planning Cap City for this year? The day after last year and 23 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got a couple of folks on the team that have been with me maybe 15 years, and I've got some folks that have been with me a lot in the last couple of years. But it's somebody said this to me the other day. They said, if you're just working for M3S Sports for the paycheck, then I think they're there for the wrong reason. We had to go through a couple, and everybody on our team is passionate.
Yeah.
They're passionate about in our mission on the whiteboard, all the stuff on the board. It's, did we create a remarkable experience for the participant? And we start, so Tuesday of next week, we will be in the office with, that's the launch. Did we create a remarkable experience for the participant?
Mm-hmm.
Was the expo that way? Or the expo-tique? How was the post-race party? What was finish line? What was runner recovery like? And we've made a lot of mistakes, but we practice a lot, and we try to get better and better and better every event and every year. And just the continuity of doing it. And the commitment of our team is amazing. So I was joking inside. They had me refixing a playlist or something, and I'm like, wow, for me, I can go up and just do that. And I do media interviews, and I run around, and all the team's doing the hard work.
Wow.
And the amount of running clubs in group, running and walking clubs in Columbus that have grown since 2004 when we started this thing absolutely amazes me and inspires me. You guys are really doing the work because you're out there in all the different groups that you're going to. Whether you're talking about M3S or not, I know you do, and I know a lot of other people do, and I really appreciate it. But just giving people permission to participate in a sport that we love,
yes,
that's all it's about. Come join me. You know, I mean, I've got the amount, and the other thing is to be hanging around the expo and sitting inside and having all these people come up to me and go, this is my 4th year, 5th year, 8th year, 12th year. I was at Ohio State last weekend. We were at St. Patrick's Day up in Hilliard. We were at all the stuff that we do in all the communities. It's amazing. So thank you. Thank my whole team. I mean, this is, hey, thanks for giving me some time today. But we keep talking. I'll talk. We'll just keep rolling.
We could. I know you're a busy guy, so I know. I always appreciate you.
Appreciate
Truly,
it.
thank you so much.
And I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, you know we're gonna be out there.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a good time.
What are we wearing?
Superman.
All right, let's go.